JB here, 2:40 on this July 16th. Welcome to Small Cap Tuesday. I was joking around about it this morning, and then sure enough, what happens? The small caps are continuing their monster rally up almost over 3% right now. Just remarkable. It continues to go. It seems like just yesterday, it pretty much was when we had that divergence after the CPI data, the S&P reversed. The morning gap closed down was down almost 1% at times while small caps were rallying. Everybody thought that was the sign that the market had topped out, and it has been anything but ever since. Very impressive rally. At some point, it'll come to a rest, right? Yeah, who knows if it's going to be uh, tomorrow? What's going to be the catalyst? Going to be earnings after Netflix earnings Thursday, or maybe it's the fall, September when everybody comes back, right? Everybody talks about the historically weak period in the fall time with September and October. Anybody's guess for now, but follow the trend. The trend's up, so that's where it's at right now. So just if you take a look at I posted a chart in the chat room. The comparison between the indexes, and right now the Nasdaq is almost flat since that CPI read, while the IWM's up 11% and the S&P is up 4%. So just pretty remarkable. And even if the markets remain flat or pull back a little bit, I still think the small caps have the opportunity to outperform. So hopefully that trend continues. So some of the names I've traded, some of the names I'm looking at, and first will be Block. Uh, I didn't want to be in a spot. The last my 7250s expire on Friday. The stock was chopping around in the morning. It's already had a monster rally so far. I didn't want to be uh, watching the profits erode, similar to what I've done with some of the other trades the past week or two. So I took the last of my 7250s off for over 100%. And then a little later on, after it found some support, I went and got some August strikes. And you look right now, it's at 73.34, pretty much at the highs of the session. Some areas you're looking for, I think 75 is obviously a key number. So if we can get through that, and then earnings should be, and I keep saying this, the first couple days of August. So once they announce that date, there might be a little premium bump, and it might be a run up into that earnings date. And if you recall, well, not recall, but its last earnings was they had a great quarter. So I think that trend's going to continue with Square. Excuse me, Unity. I went similar to Square Block, excuse me. The rest of my calls I added last week expire on Friday. Got a nice move up on Unity in the morning, almost up to $18, 17.80 or so. I locked my weekly strikes in, and then I went and got some August calls. It's been a frustrating name. It mentioned about yesterday some chop. It looked like it was ready to break out, sells off right at the open, then heads right back to the open price and then chops around for the rest of the day. One of these days, it's going to hold a monster gains. Right now, it's up 3%, which is great. I would like to see it up a little bit more. And then I think it trades well into the 20s in the coming weeks. So really like the U setup for more highs. Baidu looks like maybe it found the floor. I was talking about 91 and change, which was the lows yesterday. It got down to 91.78 today and then started to bounce. And it's up it's up 1.3%. Excuse me. I went and got some more August strikes. I still have the August 110 freebies that I already locked a lot of profits in. Uh, they also will, I think they're going to announce sometime at the first week or two of August for earnings. I have to go look. Do I have this on here? Why don't I have that on? I have to find out. Oh, Bank of America just maintains the buy. They just lowered their price target to 128 from 140. So you have two analysts updating their price targets today. I don't think that matters much. And considering this morning you had who was it this morning? Morgan Stanley lowered their price target to 115 from 125. Stock shook it off. I think it heads back over 100 in the coming days. And then I still think at least 115 in the coming weeks, if not higher. So that's Baidu. Where's my charts here? Sorry, folks. And then Roku. So Roku, I already had traded the 65s, and 65s, would have been nice to hold on. But for some nice gains already, I have the August 75s as well. I've locked some of those in. I'm still holding those. And, you have Netflix earnings on Thursday, and the premiums don't look expensive on a risk reward basis. So uh, I still think that it heads higher in the coming weeks. So because of that, I went and got some more higher strikes on Roku. And if Netflix reports a strong quarter, one of these quarters, the sympathy move on Roku will happen, and it'll be a monster move. So uh, hoping hoping it's this week. So I'll continue to hold those. Exact Science, and of course, as I'm on the audio right now, it pulled back from 49, almost its highs, but I added those 50 strikes. I wouldn't say I wrote them off for dead, but the stock wasn't doing too much. Finally, yesterday and today, actually the last three sessions, some nice moves. It's up, well, it was up 5% just a little bit ago. I think it heads over $50 into the end of the week. Uh, my calls are back in the green. At some point, I'll look to lock some of those in if they get up to 100%. Otherwise, I'll just hold them uh, at least till tomorrow and possibly into Thursday. HPQ. So I still have back before earnings, their last earnings at the end of May. I added some speculative July 38 strikes. I got them for like 23 cents. Let me see what they're, and they were up quite a bit. So I think I sold some for like 600%, 700%. And then I just held the last couple. And then HPQ pretty much flatlined for the next month, pretty much from the start of June into July. And now it's finally showing signs here. And this will be the seventh session in the green, seventh session in a row in the green. And it's getting close to that 40 target. I think it overshoots 40. So I still have some August 40s. I'm just going to hold. I only have a couple left of those 38s because it could be 38, 50, 39 in the next day or two. And the thing is, it's moving higher despite some of the sell-offs in the other names like Dell and NVIDIA. So I think that just bodes well for HPQ. Let's see here. Yeah, speaking of Dell, it finally broke under that trend line, and I have to extend it. I didn't get a chance to do that just yet. So, at some point maybe it starts to find its legs, but for now, just hold off on that. Okay. And so this is, I wouldn't say it's a sore subject. I've traded WW for some nice gains at times, and then I've also had trades that have not went well, especially after it's the last couple earnings reports. So I'm still staring at July $5 calls. I've been staring at those for a while. Uh, you know, it's one of those stories. It's a hero or zero play. It's either gonna do a reverse split, or it's gonna a bankruptcy, or you know shutter its operations, or it's going to continue to pay down its debt. It's going to grow its base. It's going to be the point of, not only point of contact for those looking to do GLP-1 drugs, but support coaching for not only for weight health, for diabetes, for cardiovascular, for the sleep apnea. That's it. To me, it'd be the one-stop shop for that. So not only, a lot of these folks, they just get the GLP-1 shot and there's no support. And then you see that data and reports saying, oh, most people, they take it for, they know, there's like 1 in 10 people actually remain on the drug for more than whatever it is, 10 months. So some of that would be the coaching process of it. And then, I've talked about this before with WW. You had Blue Cross Blue Shield, I think it was Michigan, requires at least a 3-month program of counseling on weight loss before they will approve a GLP-1 drug for weight loss. And then they actually cite WW as one of the approved counseling programs. And you have to think that kind of starts the domino effect, and all these other insurers, as they become more uh, competitive and forced to kind of like cover, get pressured. I think that just plays right into WW's wheelhouse. And then you saw that Wall Street Journal article yesterday in regards to sleep apnea, the next market for GLP-1 drugs. But the part with the sleep apnea is really, it's not about the sleep apnea part. It's the part that losing weight shows that it removes the need to be on a CPAP machine and things like that. And because of that, it looks like if they can show the data to support the GLP-1 drug getting, solving sleep apnea or remove get it, the article actually talked about one person who took it and they had zero sleep apnea incidents when they slept overnight after taking a GLP-1 drug for whatever it was, a couple months. So if they're able to show that in the data, that means that these drug companies and insurers are going to actually, well, the insurers are going to actually approve the GLP-1 drugs for sleep apnea, and in turn, that's the weight loss side of it. So, uh, again, I can go on a while for WW. I've been wrong. Well, I've been right at sometimes. I've been way wrong recently. I mean, the stock was over $10 at times. back in October of last year. It was at $10 coming into this year. Maybe it looks like it found a bottom. So I added some speculative January strikes, have plenty of time on those. If it catches any Momo, it's a stock that can go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. And the thing is, it does $180 million in revenues. It's an $800 million market cap. But a lot of the reason that the valuation is like that and skewed like that is because of the debt, right? So I think still has $800 million in debt. But as rates are going down, I think you see some of these names that were sold off based on debt start to come back to life. So that could just be part of the catalyst, I think, that takes it to the over $2 in the coming weeks. So that's why I added some spec calls there. I don't want to be in a spot where there's some kind of catalyst, there's earnings, and the stock goes bonkers, and the inexpensive calls, which they're insanely cheap right now, become extremely expensive. So when you're in before the herd, make lots of money if it goes the right direction. So it's a hero of zero play. So that's WW. Uh, I think that's about it. Chewy. I think Chewy's up 7 days in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's funny, every time Chewy rallies, the premiums are either down on the day or up on the day. So today's one of those days where the premiums are up. Right? The other day, Chewy was up 4%, the premiums were down. So my July, the last of my July 30s are back to flat, and they're up 38% today. But when Chewy was up 4%, they were down 30%. So tough to make rhyme or reason of it. I think a lot of it is there's a lot of activity in the option market, and when you have people selling premium and playing games, shenanigans, it kind of screws with the premiums. But I'll just hold the rest of those 30s for now, and at some point, Warren Kitty's going to come out with some kind of update, unless his lawyers tell him not to talk anymore, right? Uh, and then I think that'll be the next catalyst for Chewy. Trying to think of some of the other names here. Wingstop still chopping around, so thankful I locked the rest of those puts in. Um, Chewy, Unity. Oh, Turns is just sitting here at 980 or so. The good thing with Turn is every time it's had these massive rallies, it's subsequently sold off just as big to the downside. So the fact that it's holding up here at around 980, I think that's a good sign. Not much to talk about VKTX. I mean, just another name, just all the way up to 60 again today, just can't break through that. So I think once it can get through the 60 handle, it should be good to go. And that's about it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on the audio tomorrow. Rock and roll.